That was really good.
Thank you. It took me a few to get warmed up.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Ooh, what is that? Horses?
Welcome to Horse Whispers and new NPR show.
Hey, listener, is that horses? No, it's just us, Rebootleggers. We're a comedy podcast where we
Horse edition.
the horse edition. But I think that's the end of the horses. We take properties, film and television, and we reboot them, as is the custom of our time. I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Sarah.
Frank, I'm going to describe to you a scenario. Tell me if this has ever happened to you.
Hit me.
You're cruising on down Main Street. You're relaxing. You're feeling good. But the next thing that you know, you're saying, octopus in my neighborhood?
Ooh.
That's the scenario.
That's the whole scenario.
Well,
I'm not a fan.
What about surfing on the sound waves?
Seems implausible.
Swinging through the stars?
Cannot be done.
Now, Frank, once you come to that red light, you're going to need to take a left at the intestine, and then your second right past Mars.
Oh, well, that's just not feasible.
Well, you know where it is feasible, on the Magic School Bus.
On the Magic School Bus.
That was all off the dome, by the way. I was not reading that.
Real. I don't remember the theme song to this television program.
I clearly do.
All.
I clearly do. It's a good theme song. I think maybe you should take a moment
Beep, beep.
and
It's magic.
that's pretty it. That's actually pretty
So,
close.
all right. So we're doing.
This is gonna be one of our patented pre-boots. As they're gonna reboot it. They're gonna reboot it with Kate McKinnon as Miss Frizzle, which I think is a pretty good choice. But
Interesting.
there's a lot of questions that I'm hoping they answer with this reboot. I'm hoping we get maybe an origin story.
A new Netflix series called Magic School Bus 360. Now you know what that means, Scott.
Is it really called Magic School Bus 360?
Called Magic School Bus 360.
Why they gotta put numbers on it? Just
we
call
gotta
it the
beat
Magic
him to the
School
punch,
Bus.
and I think
720?
we gotta make it
720.
minimum 720.
Minimum 720. Okay, Magic School Bus 720.
I wouldn't say no to 4K.
We're talking resolutions now, huh?
This is science meeting education.
I don't know that we could. I don't know. Here's the
They
thing.
get
though.
married, they adopt baby entertainment,
Frank-
and they make science edutainment.
But I don't want to necessarily. There's not a lot of like 4K TVs. You know, they're more popular, but we're not quite there yet in terms of universal adoptiveness.
You want to drop it to 1080?
I'd like to do a Magic School Bus 1080p if we could.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool. Yeah, 1080p is better than 1080i, right?
Yes, because I is interpolated.
As opposed to progressive.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so here's that's it for the AV portion of this show.
Horses and computers. We're really just a whirlwind tour today.
Yeah. So I guess my beef with the old show is you've got a Magic School Bus teaching science. I guess that's not really a problem for me. I just wish they'd address, you know, what are his qualifications or her? Is the bus
Is this one of those situations where it is technology so advanced that it looks like magic?
Oh.
Are we in a world where science is magic?
I think we could be, but I don't want to be. I want this school bus I want magic to be real. Here's the thing. We've got a sentient bus.
Let's use my same sentence, but I'll say it differently. Are we in a world that is all magic and science
is also real.
getting discovered and is magic?
Oh, interesting. Well, so here's
I can repurpose that idea.
Yeah, so here's the question the big question that I want answered. What magic created the school bus? You know, what dark ritual was performed that took a bus and gave it sentience and life? I don't know if you remember this, but the bus does have two eyeballs on the front of it, and sometimes it has a mouth and a tongue.
Does it ever? It never talks though.
It never talks, but sometimes it does spit the children out of its mouth when it morphs them. That's the other thing. The magic school bus can like cast spells on the children and turn them into things like bats and living beams of light.
Okay, so the school bus is a creature from a higher dimension, right? So he's a creature from a higher dimension. The being that we perceive is, it's the most that we're capable of perceiving of its many dimensions being, right? So you know, it
exists in many dimensions.
When a three-dimensional person casts a shadow, that shadow is two-dimensional. A seventh-dimensional school bus monster, the shadow he casts
is three-dimensional.
Is a three-dimensional creature that's what we're capable of interpreting.
Does the magic school bus ever time travel? I think it does.
It's got to, right? How else do they learn about like the pharaohs and the?
Oh yeah, they go to see dinosaurs. They definitely time travel to see dinosaurs.
They definitely time travel.
But it's also capable of
Or does it construct perfectly realistic simulations?
No, it's magic, Frank.
Oh, it's magic. Okay.
But it does also. It is capable of like transwarp speeds. There's an episode where there's the solar system episode Obvi where they visit all the planets.
Totes Obvi.
But then there's a better space episode where they go to see other stars and the bus looks like a way cooler spaceship and it can travel between stars in like minutes.
So this is a being that eats. It's hungry. It's obviously getting something from these kids, right? So does it eat ignorance? And then when it consumes the ignorance, it has to leave behind knowledge.
Maybe. Fun fact, original Miss Frizzle voiced by the incomparable Lily Tomlin. Mm-hmm. You know Lily Tomlin?
Yep. I just had her over for dinner.
I'm not 100% sold on this extraplanar deity.
Okay.
I guess I kind of am. So was it summoned here?
We're in formation mode.
Was it summoned here? I want it to be like some black magic ritual created this thing.
So the world is not innately magical, but somebody is ripping.
Yeah, the world they live in is not magic, clearly, because these kids are regular kids.
And this was summoned from another dimension. But now it's here.
Either it was summoned or it was just like some magic spell that created it out of the ether.
All right, so they wanted to summon. I'm gonna say demon, but we're loose. They want to summon some kind of spirit from the other side, right? They prepared a vessel, and the vessel was not a school bus.
They were like, come unto this shoebox, Gilgamesh.
Yeah, things went south.
And it became a school bus.
The soul, the being, it went into the school bus by accident.
Oh, they miscalculated the trajectory of their summoning spell.
Yep,
and
they forgot.
So they were casting this spell in the school's gymnasium, and they didn't quite get those calculations right.
Now, I want to be careful, because we previously had magical summonings in school gymnasiums before.
Have we?
In our Arthur and the Knights of Justice episode.
I didn't think he did it in the gymnasium.
I don't know. I've heard it both ways.
Either way, he's in a building, and there's a bus in the parking lot that gets hit.
And yeah, because it's right next to the giant coffin.
And so now Gilgamesh.
There's an 18-wheeler that has the coffin with the holy vessel.
And inside that coffin is like just a regular baker's whisk, which has a bit.
Sorry, what?
You know, like a whisk.
No, go ahead.
It's got a whisk.
No, I know what a whisk is, but
and that's the target. See. It's actually targeting the
but not the body in the coffin.
It's targeting the cake batter residue on the whisk.
So somebody's baking a cake, and instead of washing their whisk,
Satan's
they
cake.
walk outside, pop open that 18-wheeler, throw it on the Eldritch coffin.
Yeah,
because next to the 18-wheeler is the school bus. Is where I was going.
Yeah, that's I'm with you on that. I'm just wondering.
Okay,
I want to get granular and specify specifically what the intended target was. And where they went wrong.
So then it bounces around the truck a few times, and then the truck is rattling, right, and it makes the back open.
Oh, so it does hit the truck. I was imagining it just completely misses
and then it flies out of the
hits
truck,
the bus.
and then bounces off a lamppost, Just like I bounced my can of Coke on my desk by accident just now.
Yep, it bounces off a lamppost. It hits a traffic light. It then hits the barbershop sign. It then goes into a GameStop, bounces through all the screens. It comes out.
It makes all the TVs go nuts.
Yep, it comes out.
And then it accidentally pre-orders Call of Duty 4.
Which is, I guess we're in the past now. And then it hits...
yeah, I thought this was like 20 years ago, because...
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's
she has to like get established in the modern time.
Yeah, it's 20 years ago, but somehow it gets like a 10-year advance pre-order on Call of Duty 4.
What year did the original Call of Duty 4 come out? That was a while ago.
Modern Warfare came out my freshman year of college.
Call of Duty 4.
Call of Duty 4 is Modern Warfare.
Either way, we're close enough.
Yeah, so then it pre-orders Call of Duty 4. It then, goes up the block to it finds up one of those school bus parking lots.
Yeah, one of those big school bus parking lots.
Where it's just, you drive past and it's just school bus on school bus on school bus.
And there's one school bus that's like the most broken down school bus.
Yeah, it's a short bus because...
The school bus that was next to the 18-wheeler, complete fake out.
It completely dodges that one. And
because everyone watching is going to be like, oh, I bet I know that.
Yep, so it hits the short bus in the parking lot because this is a thing that not a lot of people want to talk about. But the Magic School Bus is a short bus. It only seats 8 kids.
Yes, it doesn't have a lot of capacity. Those kids are not safe when they pack all of them into that bus.
There's only 8 kids in the classroom. That's the other weird thing about this show. They have an exclusive bus for this one class of 8 children.
So is there a chance that this is just like like a bunch of kids playing pretend, like in the recess in the schoolyard?
Well,
the whole time. There's only 8 of them. That's not a whole classroom.
That could be the premise of the original show. So that certainly isn't the premise of our show.
Maybe there's special children that the bus's magic only works on them, and so it actually drives around to their bus stops instead of their normal bus every morning. Well,
no. So this is the thing. They don't seem to ride the bus to school. They only ride the bus to leave school and go on field trips.
Maybe they all live at the school. Maybe the schools are like places you live at, like boarding schools.
Boarding school, huh? And they just live.
So there's a boarding school. It's a magic boarding school. It's not going to be Hogwarts.
Well, so hang on. Take me back to the Magic School Bus has just been granted sentience.
Yeah, so it turns on all on its own. And I guess its headlights are like eyes. Are we going to do like Who Framed Roger Rabbit cartoons in real life? Mix them up? Or are we just going to go straight animated?
I think we leave. We just leave that door open and we don't settle either way.
Okay.
But I do think so that the eyes open and the eyes are clearly the headlights, but then it also immediately transmorphs itself into a giant spider and skitters away.
Yeah. I guess because if it was a bus, it couldn't get through the gate, so it needs to climb.
It needs to go up and over for sure, and
so he climbs, and then it turns back into a bus and starts driving down the road.
Yeah, and then
but it's nighttime and there's no children.
Correct. There's nighttime and no children. I think what it does first is it seeks a primary host, a
driver,
if you will, and it comes to the house of one Ms. Veronica Frizzle. I don't know her real name. I don't know her first name.
I don't know either.
I'm just going to look this up real quick. Does Ms.
Valerie
Frizzle... It's Valerie?
Valerie Frizzle.
Valerie, I was really close. All right, so yeah, it hits up Valerie. Did Valerie summon it?
No. I think she's just the most compatible host.
So she's sleeping, and she wakes up, and there's a bus parked out outside
here's the thing. There's obviously going to be a dark faction trying to gain control of the bus because...
They're the summoners.
It knows secrets. It knows interdimensional secrets. Mm-hmm. But Valerie only uses it to teach children, and so she's not using it to its full potential.
Yeah, she's a 4th grade teacher, and she wakes up, and there's a bus parked outside her house. And she's like,
and her
that's
car
weird.
is just gone, 100% gone.
I think her car's still there. I think she just drives to school, and then when she parks, the bus is already there.
The bus just pulls up from the back, and then the girl turns into a mouth, and he opens just
her.
He opens real big and just slowly drives forward.
And it eats her car.
Yeah, but there's no like chomping and chewing. He opens his mouth, and he just slides forward until the entire car is gone, and then the grill turns, and then the mouth turns back into a grill.
Is she...
And where'd the car go?
in the original show, the mouth was a bumper. I don't know why I feel compelled to say that. But does she... Frank, is she still in her car when this happens? Does it, like, eat her car and then suddenly she's now sitting in the driver's seat of the bus?
So the mouth closes and all light is gone from the world. And then there's a big...
And then she's in the driver's seat of the bus.
just sitting in the driver's seat of the bus. Yes.
Okay, and then does it speak to her?
I think the bus doesn't speak.
But she hears a voice.
She talks to the bus as if it's speaking in her head.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah. She's like, what?
Who said that? Who said that?
Who are you? What? I will teach these kids.
Is she a witch? Hear me out on this. Original Miss Frizzle dresses eccentrically, has an animal companion, has a magical vehicle.
She could be a witch.
I think even the original Miss Frizzle is a witch.
Probably, yeah. So that's what's great. So there's obviously a warlock trying to steal the bus.
Yeah, there were like 12 people inside that big rig surrounding the coffin doing the summoning ritual. One of them will be disguised as a 4th grader.
But will technically be an adult man, right?
I don't know. I think maybe they got magic. Maybe they magicked an adult man.
Yeah, they can magic themselves to pretend to be 4th graders.
And you know who that is.
The man is not 11 years old.
Do you know who that is? Well, no, if he was 11 years old, he'd be in 6th grade. Come on, get with the times.
Yeah, so I think that you want it to be Carlos.
No, I want it to be Arnold, the boy who hates being there.
Okay, yeah.
Which, come on, I don't understand why Arnold hates it. He always wishes he had stayed home today.
Danny Tamborelli. Wow.
Is the
That's
voice?
who voiced him. Yeah.
Who is that?
Oh, he was on All That, the Nickelodeon Saturday Night Live.
Oh, any other bigs?
Give me a sec.
Any other good deep cuts from that voice cast besides the one and only Lily Tomlin?
Nah, not really.
That's a bummer. Who voiced the bus?
Not listed.
Okay, so voice in her head speaks to her. Does Arnold replace another child, or do they just get a new student that day?
Well, if Arnold's the spy, then he's the spy.
Right, is he a new student spy, or was there an original Arnold?
Does he knock out the original 11-year-old Arnold? No, he's just a new student.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to explicitly support violence against children.
I think I can get on board with that not getting on board.
So he's a new kid in class, and he hates everything because he wants to discourage.
Yeah, he's like, come on, we don't need to. Can't we just?
You should quit your job. You should quit your job, and you should give the bus back.
And
And
meanwhile,
he just
the
like
bus,
says that. I think just straight up.
So the bus, is it going to be a bad? So here's a very. This is an important decision we have to make. We don't hear the bus. But Miss Frizzle does.
It's a Chewie situation.
It's a
like
Chewie. It's an R2-D2 situation.
Yeah.
Chewie,
Like,
it's a BB-8.
The bus will be like.
So are we gonna? We can do this one of two ways. Are we gonna do this good and have her just reply as if she's having a normal conversation, or are we gonna do this bad and have her repeat everything the bus says as a question before answering it?
No, I want to do it the good way.
Okay. So she says,
Where
"Who
she
is
says,
this?"
Like, really? Okay, and then the bus just starts going.
Who is this? Yeah, so the bus has to inform her about those who seek to, and
The others, as it were.
what is the spirit that inhabits the bus's name? Are we still going like being ripped from its home dimension?
Yeah, sure. So it's like Grablin Schnabel,
And they call it
bus.
bus. Yeah,
Because there's gonna be a funny part where she says, "Well, what do I call you?"
yeah. So
I can't pronounce that.
We could go. I'll call you bus.
I'm gonna call you bus.
We could go one of two ways with it. It could be extraplanar entity stripped from its home reality, or it could just be magical weapon created
that has recently gained sentience.
This is its sentience.
A la Dawn and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I like that a lot.
And so it's like, you got to keep me away from them.
Yeah. So it says like, I didn't know what the before times were, but I do know the now times, and I need you to use me only to learn children.
Only for good and only to learn children. And I what is it? So what is learning children get it? Why specifically to learn children?
I think so. This is where it's coming down to. So my original idea is that the bus is a living being and needs to consume something from the children, something benign.
It siphons.
Yeah. So does it? In my original idea, which is still just on the table, I think, is that it when it learns a child, it siphons away the ignorance like a fine wine.
The empty dark matter learning space.
It takes the knowing. It takes the not knowing.
It takes the void of knowledge.
So like we eat substances, it eats unsubstances and makes the whole behind.
Yeah, when we read books, it eats our it's very hard to put into words,
Our
right?
brain is full of not knowing, and then when we know stuff, it pushes it out of our ears, and the bus just licks it up.
Yeah, it just licks it up. That not knowing state has to go somewhere. It doesn't just get filled.
All the not knowing, just like I said, out of the ears, and the bus just like.
But it also has I think it's got some sort of tether.
When the bus eats not knowing, it gets an expanded mind of knowledge.
Yeah,
because the not knowing is like when you blow air into a balloon, and the balloon is how much the bus knows about the universe.
And so the bus has also imprinted upon Valerie Frizzle, and they have like a symbiosis going on. Like they cannot be. The bus only responds to her. She gains
only she can command it to move.
She gains and in return for creating a learning children situation, she also gains increased magic strength.
Yeah, which she just uses to help the bus, probably.
Yeah, I think she will have to fight.
So is this going to be like on the weekends and in the evenings she's fighting the Dark Warlocks?
Oh shit, dude! Is she
is
she a nighttime?
Is she going
hero?
mono a womano?
Does she like at nighttime the bus turns into like some sick ass like flying vehicle?
Now here's the thing: I do want to say Megazord very badly, but we can't.
No, it's not a Megazord. It is a personal single ambulatory. Not a Megazord. It's very important that we stress this is not a Megazord.
I don't want it to be anything that she wears.
She doesn't wear it, but she does pilot it. And I want to stress it does have arms and legs, but it is not in any way, shape, or form a Megazord.
Yes. It turns into,
sometimes it's like a UFO and stuff, and she's got but I just want to stress that...
It's like a robot assistant.
And I will stress that sometimes it does get very large, and it does have arms and legs, but it is in no way a Megazord.
Yeah, sometimes there's a cockpit that a person fits in.
Sometimes there's a cockpit that a person fits in.
But sometimes no.
Sometimes it is the size of a building and wields an enormous sword, but it is in no way a Megazord.
Yeah, only when it needs to, because it eats a lot of energy to do that.
Yeah, only when the Warlocks make themselves big does it become big, and
it also becomes big.
And and again, not a Megazord.
So I'm not sure how grim the Knights portions are gonna be. So
not super.
When she defeats the knowledge-stealing Warlocks, does it make them dumb? Does it make them stupid because she takes away the knowing, and then all the not knowing fills in there?
So the Warlocks are also... Wait, it makes the bus stupid?
The Warlocks want to pop the bus's knowledge balloon and steal the universe knowing.
I think the Warlocks are specifically after the bus. They want to pop Miss Frizzle to sever that bond so that one of them can have the bus.
One of them can have the bus's knowledge balloon.
Because the bus is infinite. I don't think they can... I don't think any human... Here we go.
Yeah, the bus is external storage for knowledge that can't fit a mortal mind.
Exactly, Frank. We're talking like a Lucy situation. You only use 10% of your brain, and we need to put... It's not that if we could put that more in the brain, we can't. The brain is full up.
It doesn't. It's just chock full.
The brain's full up.
There's things like breathing that we just can't get rid of.
Right,
and the bus doesn't have to worry about that.
Right. So if we could craft some sort of sentient vessel to fill all that knowledge with, then we can harness. We can control that being. Yeah,
we can turn on the knowing like the hot water nozzle.
Because as we all know, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Quite literally.
Magical power as well.
Quite literally. So, they need that bus.
A lot of times, spells are just saying facts out loud. And long and complex facts get you more power.
Yeah, and sometimes secrets are just facts that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
she wants to cast a fireball, and she like raises her. Does she have wands? There's no wands.
I think
she like puts her hand in the air, and she says, "Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell," right? And then a fireball happens, and it's an all right fireball. But then some other guy comes along, and he's like,
oh shit! Does she like write these? Does she type these facts into the bus's like computer console, and then that creates like the bus gets to shoot lasers? Does she like write these down on a notepad?
Like math blasters, but in real life.
She like writes it down on a notepad and feeds it through like the bus's fax
she's like
machine slot.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and then he can like, and then he's a boat.
Yeah, and she says it, and like when she finishes saying it, she slams it down onto the copy machine inside the bus so that it can scan the knowledge.
Yeah. Copy machine. That's fine.
Or scanner screen,
like a
or
laptop.
Just like a. I thought
maybe.
I like that there's I like the idea of her having to write it physically.
You want scanning.
I wanted to write it physically on paper and feed it through like a fax machine slot. It's like
one of those.
I don't know that it has to go that slow, but it does have to slurp it up. Or she slams it. She slams it down, and there's
you don't ever get the paper back, right? Because it just eats it.
Yeah, you slam it down, and there's like
there's a knowledge slot.
God, I really love knowledge slot, but I also love slamming it down onto like a copy machine screen where you see that light go back and forth across. Yeah. She's got both.
Boy.
I think maybe she's got the slot for a while, and then she gets upgraded to the copy screen.
Yeah, the bus can upgrade itself, right? But it needs to build up enough power.
Mm-hmm.
It like levels up.
It doesn't level up. It has to learn about copy machines.
Yes. And there's a whole funny bit, right? Where it's like 5:45 p.m. and she's like dragging a copy machine outside of the building. And then she like touches it to the bus, and it's like, oh yeah, and then it like integrates it and like sucks it in.
To the bus. It just opens its mouth like a baby bird.
Yes, it just eats whatever it does.
It just opens its mouth like a baby bird, and
so like it can't fly until she throws in a model airplane.
I was imagining it had to eat an entire plane.
So it's not really a knowledge slot as much as a knowledge like gaping mouth of chewing.
Well, so that's how it gains new abilities, but then to make attacks, she has to feed it facts. Fact attack.
Yeah.
We call it a fact attack.
She has to say like, and like the better facts get the more powerful stuff, right?
She says like neutrons have no charge.
So she like has an encyclopedia and is just like, oh man, I gotta make nope. I have to make a large sword robot to fight this warlock, right? And so she takes like World Encyclopedia A through J and just like crams them in the knowledge slot.
Through the shredder, yeah.
In the knowledge shredder. But that's the problem is once it knows that thing, that doesn't work anymore for it.
Oh, no, I think it can use that ability. It's just not as powerful as the first time it learned it.
Yeah. New knowledge gets it more energy.
But it can still use it. Yeah, it's like every time Goku learns a new ability, it's very powerful the first time he uses it, and then he throws it around like it's nothing after that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about these kids and their field trips. And I do think that we'll go more into the secret society that created the bus. Where does magic come from? And Valerie Frizzle's life. She has to balance her weird mother and her ex-husband, maybe. No.
Oh, here's a fun thing. The original book series, not the show, the original book series for Magic School Bus, there were 19 students.
What? Where'd they all go?
It was cut down to 8 to be like more relatable.
I guess that makes sense. You can't have a show with 19 main characters.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about these 8 kids. Here's what I want you to do. I need you to pull up a list of these 8 kids, and I'm going to try to list all of them because I think I know them all.
All 8? Okay.
All 8. You got that list?
I'm ready.
Okay, so you got Carlos, you got Ralphie,
Boom.
You got Dorothy Ann, aka DA, you've got Wanda, you've got Phoebe, you've got Keisha. Yeah. That's all 4 girls, and I've got. Did I hit 3 of the boys? Did I hit Arnold?
You just did now.
Oh, who's the little black boy?
You're missing
2?
You're missing 1 boy, and then. I guess there's like Janet? A strongly recurring... Yeah, Janet.
Yeah,
and then you're missing 1 boy.
Janet's Arnold's cousin. Who's that boy? Oh, what's his name? I think it starts with a J. Does it start with a J?
No. I will give you a hint.
Okay.
I'll try to give you a hint.
Okay.
His grandfather owns a honeybee farm.
I know who he is. He wears a blue sweater. He's got a flat top. I can picture him perfectly. I just cannot think
He's
of his
the most
name.
artistic student, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, god dang it. This is not helpful.
It's Timothy.
Timothy. Yeah, that's right. They just call him Tim. Okay, and so the way this would work a lot of the time is there'd be two kids who are like the main focus of a specific episode. So like in the episode where they go inside Arnold's body, the two main kids are Arnold and Wanda.
He goes in his own body?
No, he does not go in. He swallows gum. So they're trying to break the record for longest gum chewing so that they can get free tickets to an amusement park. It's him and Wanda doing the contest. Wanda is very proud of him, slaps him on the back hardly because she's like very hard because she's, you know,
She's strong.
she's razzed about it, and it makes him swallow the gum, and she gets very upset at him, and he feels terrible. So then the bus goes into him to see where the gum goes, and Wanda like keeps leaving the bus and like having her own amusement park adventure inside Arnold's body.
Oh.
And then they make him drink soda so that he can burp them out instead of shitting them out.
Is that like actually part of the episode?
Yeah, because they're like, well, where does it go after this? And she's like, well, then I'll go, ew. And so they get him to drink soda so that he can burp them out.
Okay. So Arnold's the traitor, right? So is he just going to be a minor character in every episode, or?
Yeah, so Arnold, I think he's just going to be more or less, he's a recurring character, but he's like...
He's just always saying stuff like
he's always
this is
just
a
really
stupid
not
bus.
into it.
You should break your bond. I mean, get a new bus.
He really never accomplishes anything. He's mostly just there to be like, this guy.
Your classic ineffectual naysayer.
Yes, exactly. He's like, oh, come on, guys. Wouldn't you rather like learn on the chalkboard?
Yeah, let's all just go inside and sit down with our books.
Sit down with our good
Let's
books.
sit down and you can get rid of that bus because it smells. I don't like this bus, Mrs. Frizzle.
Ms.
Get rid of the bus.
Frizzle.
Break your bond with the
Ms.,
bus.
Not a Mrs.
Well, she's married to
Okay.
the bus.
Oh.
Not that way.
Well, apparently that way if her name is Mrs. Frizzle.
Well,
If
I mean,
someone's
she's
married
bonded
to
at a
their-
higher level than most mortals can understand.
I understand that. I didn't mean to... I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't understand what the most mortals don't understand. Okay, cool. So the bus fights the warlocks, the kids...
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I'm not really worried about the kids at all. I'm just sort of interested with the warlock fights.
Yeah, I just think
The kids help. She has the kids feed knowledge to the bus by day.
Oh, by day they're just like doing book reports and
They're
stuff
just
and going on.
slamming knowledge.
Yeah,
into that
yeah.
slot.
So every field trip they go on, it's not actually for the
Yeah,
kids.
and she's like a little bit wild eyed, right? Of like keep giving knowledge to the bus kids. Like keep
and
going.
they're all like, "What?
You
What
can't
do
stop.
mean?"
You can never
Yeah.
stop. Please don't
Yeah.
stop. Keep giving.
Yeah.
Keep go. Go.
Yeah, and so then what kind of? Give me some more fact attacks, Frank.
Some fact attacks.
Fact attacks.
So, in 1942, first 92 levels of those blue, and
Yeah, we
then
got
it turns into a boat, right?
it turns into a boat. I thought maybe that'd be
Bumblebees,
like a water-based
bumblebees
attack.
actually can fly because they generate lift, and then the bus can fly.
Yeah, bumblebees could all. Who thought bumblebees couldn't fly?
There was a whole thing about how like science can't explain how bumblebees' wings work. It can. And then there's stuff where it's like
Protons and neutrons, and it has like an electricity attack.
Yeah, or it says like I mean, it doesn't always have to be like hard science either, right? Where sometimes it's just like like in
Carlos enjoys comic books. That's a new fact.
Yeah,
you
so
learned.
that's like a filler fact that like powers the old moves, right? Mm-hmm. But she needs to get those reserves up.
Yeah.
But then there's stuff about like something with medicine, and then it like shoots
Turtles.
yeah, or like a healing beam of
Turtles.
it shoots turtles.
He becomes a turtle at some point, for sure. I think maybe also at some point do the warlocks make a second attempt and create their own evil bus?
Oh yes, dude. They create an evil, but it's a coach bus.
Oh, it's like a Greyhound.
It's like a nice Greyhound. But here's the problem, Scott, is that it's not the real thing, right? It's a subpar copy. And so the amount of knowledge they need just for one attack is like huge, but they have like a whole network and like the internet, right? So it's kind of balanced.
Yeah, couldn't she just hook that bus up to the internet and be done with it?
I think the internet...
Why can't she do that? We got to nip that in the bud.
Yeah. She tries to touch a LAN cable to the bus, and the bus is like, nope.
It just says no for whatever reason.
The
knowledge has to come. The knowledge has to come from a brain. It can't. The bus cannot consume information on its own.
Only brains have the not knowing.
Yes, a child could read the internet to the bus and learn, but the bus cannot directly consume the internet.
Yeah. It doesn't work. There's no not knowing to fill its knowledge balloon.
There we go. Just cover our ass on that one. Love it.
Whew.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't have anything else. I think this is golden.
Yeah,
I think we've given enough of a jumping off point that we can ship this off to the.
And then at the end, they all graduate and they get into like Ivy League colleges. Yeah,
we flash forward about 15 years to where they're
and like old.
Well, so here's what we can do. Oh shit! So this is a reboot. So it's gonna be the original kids, but then we can finish this show. Wait 5 to 10 years and then bring it back again, but now as a sequel where all the kids are now adults living their mediocre, boring lives, and Miss Frizzle is old but shows up and she's like the most powerful. You need to learn how to use
the bus.
Yeah, the series maybe ends with the sorceress going back to the bus's home dimension with it, and then she comes back as the most powerful enchantress to ever have lived.
And she gives them all their own buses. And she says, you're all always meant to be teachers, teach kids.
Yeah, and one
but
kid's
more
like,
importantly, there's a warlock army coming and we need to get these buses up.
Yeah, and Ralphie's like, but what about me? I'm a PE teacher.
And he says, like, that's important too. All jobs matter. Get on this bus.
Beautiful. All right, this is a great jumping off point. We can ship this off to the B team to finish up our work.
Get it all, written, artist, music.
Get this shit in before the new show comes out.
Gotta squeak it out.
I think we can get there under the wire. So be on the lookout for Magic School Bus 1080p. Magic School Bus 360 will get canceled.
After 2 episodes. Netflix will put up the whole season.
No, it's going to get canceled. It's going to get
retroactively take it back.
No, they're gonna see our show and do that instead. They're gonna cancel 360 and go straight to 1080p. They're gonna buy it from us,
and then we're gonna be rich.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. 360 is not happening anymore, everybody. So don't expect canceled, 360. Don't look for it. Don't expect 360. Just get ready for 1080p. So yeah, let's cut it, print it, ship it, put it in a pizza pouch, and so thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to everybody who's giving us a rating and review on iTunes. If you haven't, please do that. If you like the show even a little bit, it would really, really help us out if you would do that and subscribe on iTunes and tell your friends, please. You can follow us on Twitter at Rebootleggers. Until next time, I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Serra.
Frank, what's our password for next week?
Our password for next week is beep beep. Oh.